Hey guys, welcome back to Brick System Brothers. My name's Nathan Masters, and on this LEGO channel, I've been thinking of ways that you guys can be more involved if you want to be. So I'm going to introduce a new game called Brick System Bingo. Now, hopefully you've heard of bingo before. The idea is you have this board, a grid of empty spaces, and then you're going to be filling in these spaces based on criteria, and if you fill everything in, there's a prize, right? So, the typical bingo you play with digits and letters. So it's usually a 5x5 grid. I've got it down to 4x4. So let's say, you have the letter B and the number 9. This square would be B9. If someone draws out of the mix of possible spaces to cover, and they draw B9, you would just cover that space. So short introduction to bingo. Hopefully you guys are kind of familiar with that idea. What I'm going to do for our brick system bingo is very similar. I'm going to do a slightly smaller grid, so hopefully it goes a little faster, actually covering the squares. And then instead of letters and numbers, I'm doing colors on the top and categories on the side. So the idea with brick system bingo or Lego bingo is I'm going to be drawing from a random, you would draw from like a random thing of bricks, and hopefully at random you draw out a piece. All right, let's say this was totally random, but it wasn't. So we have a little blue 1x2 wall panel, and now what we do is we look on the bingo board and say, all right, I have this blue column, so that meets one of the criteria. But what else do we have? It has to either be a brick, a minifig, a frame, or a slope. And the closest thing we've got here is a frame. So at that point, it's kind of up to me as the creator of the game to say, am I going to count this as a frame or not? And I think just to help keep things moving along, if this actually happened, I would count this as a frame. And then I'd come over here, and we actually would cross off that spot on the bingo board. And 3 more to go in the blue category, and you have a bingo. So you may ask, what happens when we get a bingo? I'm thinking that, as a way to reach out to you guys in the community and as our subscribers, that would be something where if there's a bingo in the end of a video, you guys would comment. You just comment bingo or something along those lines, and then you get a shout out. So pretty much set on that as a base level reward, depending on how easy it is to actually cover up a grid and like how often that actually happens. So, like say it takes 2 weeks to cover a row, and then everyone who comments bingo on that video gets a shout out. That would be a pretty good frequency, I think, if we could get that pace going. But say it actually takes a little longer, maybe more like 2 months, or even every year, we actually maybe fill up a row or a diagonal. Hopefully it doesn't take that long, but another thing we could do would be looking at covering up all the squares and then having a blackout, is what that's called in bingo. And maybe for something like that, we'd actually do a Lego giveaway. So we just did one for 500 subscribers. This would be another way that you guys could engage with the channel if you'd like. So as far as like where I'll actually be doing this on the channel, I think this would be a really fun thing to do as a segment at the end of a video. So maybe on some of our series like Q-Tap, I wouldn't maybe put it on there. Maybe I would. Maybe the Q-Tap piece could actually be part of the bingo game. That'd be interesting. But yeah, just keeping an eye on when I could actually fit this in. For the most part, I think it will be something that if I'm doing a video related to something on the computer, it'd be pretty easy to just add this in at the end. So maybe like a little 30-second deal where I'm picking a piece at random and then seeing if that can go into a bingo grid. Depending how many of those selected pieces are actually eligible to cover a spot, I might actually end up picking 3 or 5 every time we play. And so then like out of those 5, maybe we get 2 that cover a spot, something like that. So the next thing is like, how am I actually going to be picking these? And like I said, you could actually go here and draw from a bin, but that's a pretty narrow range of all of the pieces Lego's produced. So I wanted to do something a little more comprehensive And my current solution is going to be using this Excel file. So you don't have to know a lot about Excel to know how this works, but I would like to run through it. This is the introduction for the bingo game, and I'll be referring back to this video just kind of as a passing phrase whenever we play. Like, hey guys, we're going to do bingo. If you don't know what this is or how it works, go check out the intro video. That's this one right here. So how I'm actually going to be picking these is I have two columns over here. This one is element ID and this one is part number. And I'll talk about these in a minute. So just know that everything in this column is unique. There's only one of them. And each one of these numbers corresponds to a specific Lego piece. So that's important. This is what I'll actually be picking at random so that we don't have duplicates. And then over here is kind of the tracker. So round number 1, kicking off the whole event. Pick number 1 is what we're going to be doing as a test right now. So to actually generate a random ID, I did have to go online and find a little snippet that I can copy and paste in here. So I've done that already, and I'll do the redo button here. And this is the snippet, in case you're curious. Basically it's saying, all right, we're going to choose from this whole column of digits, and then we're going to just pick a random one of those and copy that value into this box right here. So, no, don't do that. There we go, like that. Okay, so enter. That's what it does. That's how it works. It's going through this column, picking a random one of those numbers, and pasting it in this box right here. This function will update every time I change the Excel sheet. And so what I'm going to be doing is copying that digit into the result box so that we have a history of the ones that I've picked. So the result here, 6273233. So that's the element ID that the random picker chose for round number 1, pick number 1. And when I hit enter, it's going to update and give us pick number 2. So I'll call that good for now. You can already see it's pick number 2, but now I want to go and see, all right, what is element ID 6273233? Unless you're actively memorizing these, that probably doesn't mean anything to you guys. It doesn't mean anything to me because I don't memorize these, but 6273233, let's go to good old Rubricable. 6273233. So this specific digit set of digits corresponds to the light green minifig hair, 2 points, pointy, this thing right here. I think this is an elves piece. I've actually never paid attention to this before. So yellowish green, here's the element ID, and it was in 3 sets. This is the only color this hairpiece has been produced in. So actually a kind of obscure little part, and keep that in mind because I'm going to be talking about that one of the reasons I'm actually doing this game. Okay, so let's see if this can fill in our bingo card at all. Yellowish green hairpiece. Blue, tan, teal, red. Those are the 4 colors that I've kind of got chosen to start off. It is kind of a bluish green, but it's a little bit too light for teal. So I actually can't put it in the bingo card. It doesn't match the colors. However, if it were to match one of these colors, it would also have to match one of these rows. And it actually would match the minifig row right here. So let's just say for demonstration that instead of teal, this was light green. I would go right here to teal minifig and put in an X mark. And that would cross off that space on the bingo board. Then we'd go back to the Excel sheet, run another pick, 4205469. Okay, so that's pick number 2. So 4205469, 42052, It's a 41769 wedge plate, 4x2 right. Okay, so this is pick number 2 from the random Excel sheet. Let's see if this will fit on the bingo board. Blue, tan, teal, red. Nope, none of those colors match, so that's a miss. So we would just go through using this generator, and the next one it gives us 607. So you can kind of see how you go through. Similar to bingo, not everything that's drawn is going to be something you can put on your board. So kind of pretty much corresponds to the actual game, but I am cutting some corners to hopefully make it go a little bit smoother. I'll just give you guys a brief overview on element ID versus part number. So the part number column right here, that refers to the number that you can usually find actually on the Lego brick. So these 2x4 bricks are part number 3001, and I actually look these up so often that it's kind of in my memory now. So no matter what color 2x4 brick you're going to have, you can always find on the inside 3001, and that is the part number or the design ID. If you actually want to tell them apart with the piece type and the color, you need to look at the element ID. And so for a green 2x4, that's going to have a different element ID than a tan 2x4, and that's why I'm using the element IDs for my random picker for the bingo game. So that's that. And this is also going to be, in the first couple times, the first couple boards that we do are going to be kind of a test to kind of figure out what pace is going to work good here as far as actually filling up a board. Another thing that you usually do with bingo is you get a free space. So let's actually do that really quick. My idea for having a free space on the board was to look at which combination would be the least likely to happen, so that you can go ahead and just get that out of the way and not worry about trying to find one out of all those element IDs. And in that case, I think we would want to look at the teal color, because that's probably the one that has the fewest pieces. And probably a teal frame would be the hardest element to find. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of any teal frames that Lego has produced before. So this will be our free space. If I can write straight, I'll just say free. And then we won't have to worry about filling that up during the game of bingo. I think this will be helpful because in the event that one of the combinations is actually impossible, that can kind of take care of that. And then if we actually had that teal hairpiece in here like I had before, then we're pretty much halfway to a bingo already. So I'm really not sure how this is going to go in terms of how many picks we're going to need before we can actually get a bingo. And then if it's even possible to get a blackout within a year. Even playing bingo at the end of every video, it might take a while. So like I said, it'll kind of be a test and a little bit of trial and error to see what works. But either way, I think this will be fun. Basically, this is something that you guys can join in on at the end of our videos and get a shout out. At this point, it's kind of set in stone in my head that whenever we get a bingo at the end of a video, all you have to do is comment bingo on that video, you get a shout out. I'll do it for everyone who comments, and then I'll just do that in one of the next videos that we have out on the channel. So that would be pretty easy to do. As far as doing an actual prize and giveaway, I think I would reserve that for probably a full cover board, which would be a blackout. And that might be something where I actually have multiple bingo boards going at the same time. Like once we get a bingo on one board, I'll go ahead and start a new one, with different colors up here and different categories down here. But we'll also keep this one going kind of in the background to see if we can actually get that filled up. And I might actually do that right out of the gate where I have 3 bingo boards going at once, just to try and get a little bit more coverage and see if we can get some frequency happening here. Because I have a hunch that it's going to be harder than I think to actually fill these spots up. So that's kind of what you guys have to look forward to. Like I said, I'm going to try to incorporate this into as many videos as possible. Looking at our Shoutout series, the hold up what's that awesome piece that I feature could actually be the bingo pick for that video, and then that would be a pretty smooth transition right into the end. Hopefully this would be a pretty short thing to do, like 40 seconds or so right at the end of those clips, so that you're not sitting through another couple minutes of footage. Just a little something fun to do at the end of our videos was kind of what I wanted to do here for this game. And just for fun, these element IDs, the original data set, you can actually go and download this from Rubricable. Let me see if I can find it. Where was that? Parts, I think. if I can get back to it. This is just something that you can download to your computer and then open it up in Excel. I'm not going to do that right now. I don't remember exactly where I got it, but basically you download the parts file, open it up, and you get 3 columns. You get the element ID, the part number, and it also gives you the color ID. I didn't need the color ID, so I deleted that column. But then the element IDs, it actually does individual numbers for each print of a piece as well as each piece. So if you had a 2x4 tan brick that was printed with Legoland, and that is a piece, I think I have that at home, that would have a different design ID than just a plain 2x4 tan brick. So I did want to keep things a little bit more cohesive than just having all of the prints out in the mix. I feel like that would maybe skew things sometimes. So I went through and prints are denoted by additional letters and numbers in the part number right here. Element IDs are always digits, but part numbers can have some letters as well to help show where those prints are. So for the most part, I actually took those prints out. The ones that I did leave in are the printed torsos, which are number 973, and the printed heads, which are 3626. And this data set actually had over 4,000 different printed torsos. So this is kind of interesting in itself. Like, just think of how many different patterns Lego has put on a torso over the years. And 2,700 different printed heads. So right there, like, the combination of torsos and heads, it's already an immense number. Like, how many different combinations you could have. That's crazy. But even with all of these individual unique element IDs, torsos only make up 10% of the list, and heads only make up 7%. There's a total of 38,900 unique element IDs in this data set, and that's after going through and taking out all the prints. That's a lot of unique pieces, guys. And just having that so vast of a data set is one of the reasons I think it might be harder than it seems maybe to play bingo this way. But I'm going to give it a shot, and we're going to see what happens. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully you guys can get something out of it. We'll try it for at least until the end of the year and see what happens. If it's taking forever to, like say we go through 10 picks and none of them actually match a bingo card, then it might be something where I need to relax the constraints on the colors. Like, instead of blue, I would say primary colors. So then you actually have 3. You have red, yellow, and blue. If it meets any one of those 3, then it would be eligible there. So I could relax the restrictions. I could play multiple cards at once, and I have made a few more of these, but this was the one I wanted to start with. And then we could try to get a few more bingos just out of the game as we play along here. But basically, we'll do a round. A round will go until there's a bingo, and then I'll start a new round. And like I said, what's in it for you guys is at least a shout-out. A shout-out is guaranteed if you play along. Possibly some giveaways in the future as well, but we'll have to keep an eye on the frequency. I don't have enough stuff to send giveaways out every week. So if we're getting bingos every week, that's not going to work. But I think it is going to take a little bit longer than that. And what else do I have to say? This currently it's sorted by the size, so the element ID number, smallest to largest. And in case you're curious, 9336 is the classic printed head. That's what I started with in Rebrickable here. So here's the part number, 3626BPR001. That's the one right here. The element ID, 9336, unique to the head. If you guys have questions about this, definitely put them down in the comments. And I probably skipped over a few things, but did want to cover the basics, the basic idea of brick system bingo. Hopefully this will go smoothly, somewhat smoothly. I'll probably be making some adjustments as we go along, but I've made up 6 of these cards, and I've done all the work. Pretty much all I have to do now is type these in. So we had the third pick was 6072952, and every time I hit enter, it picks a new one. So that's pretty slick. Let's just look up this one for completion, and then I'll call it a wrap on this video. 6072652. 6072652. Oh, hope I haven't made a mistake. 607-2652. See if it gives me anything. No search results. Oh, that's weird. Let's try another one. 613-3845. 6133845. 6133845. A 2x2 round tile, light gray. Is it good to go? Blue, teal, tan, red. I feel like I'm definitely going to have to play multiple cards here, but yeah. That's it, guys. Brick System Bingo introduction video explaining the methodology behind it, how I'm actually making these picks. I think just for kicks, I'll do a couple of them where I actually do draw a random piece from a bin, but like I said, pretty limited cross-section of the total available pieces here. Not exactly random because there's bigger pieces taking up more space in the bin, so you're more likely to actually grab a bigger piece. If you want true random, you got to go down to the data level in good old Excel. And yeah, 38,900 unique elements. We're not running out of these anytime soon. If anything, I'm worried that that's too many. But we'll see how it goes, guys. Yeah, thanks for watching along. That is the first 3 picks for Brick System Bingo. I will keep these cards updated, and whenever I put a clip at the end of a video, I'll try to have the card up to date with the ones that are already filled in. And then as we play along, you should be able to tell pretty easily when there is a bingo. When that happens, just comment on that video, bingo, and we'll throw you in a shout out on our next upload. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you around the channel, Brick System Brothers.